But of course, we do play the third men's singles. Two of the matches going the full distance, the two doubles matches. And it really has been a thrilling contest so far. Well, the fifth and final match within the tie. Third men's singles, Dionysius Hayom of Indonesia against the left-handed B.Beckman of England.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last match of Thomas Group A men's single in course 1, representing Indonesia, D.H.Rumbaka, representing England, B.Beckman.
Well, the big occasion for B.Beckman, making his 8th England appearance today, the left-hander. Son of a former women's doubles partner of mine, Karen Bridge, who became Karen Beckman. Oh, goodness me, that's showing my age, isn't it? And so the left-handed B.Beckman, 24 years of age. His opponent a year younger. Umpire Mahado. Well, B.Beckman played against China and played at second men's singles. Lost out to Chen Long, 21-5, 21-5 in just 31 minutes. He'll be hoping for a better performance than that here today against Dionysius Rumbaka. So the Indonesian, born in Yogyakarta in central Java, and a positive win-loss record for the year, including, most importantly, a quarter-final at the All England Championships. B.Beckman, world ranking of 104. Rumbaka, of course, up one place to 22 this week. So, huge discrepancy in their world rankings. They played once previously, that was in the quarter-final in Romania. Went the full distance on that occasion, but it has to be said that that was 3 years ago when Rumbaka, still a teenager. Very difficult for both these players, of course, seeing the fact that the match is already decided. This a dead match within the tie.
Yeah, I think the Indonesians might be a little bit happier than the English, because even though I hold Rumbaka as the clear favorite in this match, then for the Indonesian team it's quite nice that they've already secured the victory, and there's they can rest easily on the sideline and enjoy the match, and Rumbaka can get into this Thomas Cup tournament without too many nerves. I mean, Ben lost with 5-5 yesterday, but that was against Chen Long, and we've already discussed how solid he is, so he actually played quite well.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Indonesia represented by Dionysius Rumbaka. On my left, England represented by B.Beckman. Indonesia to serve, level, play. One love.
Well, just picking up on what you were talking about there, Steen, of course this is the first time that Indonesia have played in the Thomas Cup finals this year.
Service over.
Didn't have to play a match yesterday. So it is very important, I guess, for all the Indonesian players prior to playing against China tomorrow, that they just get a feel of the stadium and just get their bearings and work themselves into the tournament, get an easy feel about it.
Yeah, not getting themselves knocked out before
Yeah.
meeting China, because had they lost to England, it's hard to imagine that they would have beaten China
Service
tomorrow.
over. 2-all.
Good shot.
That's nicely done. Have you seen much of
2.
B.Beckman on the tour? He's been playing some of the international challenger events.
I've actually never seen him before last week in Milton Keynes.
Service over. 3-all.
And your first impressions of him then?
He's got some great attacking shots and quite dangerous shots from both sides, forehand side and backhand side. His defense is lacking a bit, but that's only natural, and of course his, like we discussed earlier, his shot quality is not of the same standard as the regular Super Series players, but nothing that shouldn't be impossible to improve in the future for B.Beckman. And I think there's two promising players in him and Toby Penty. Still a long way to go, and we're talking years here. We're not talking months, but there's something to build upon. And
yes, of course, Toby Penty played yesterday. Played third men's singles against China. So a great experience for him.
Service over. 4.
Indonesia also
5.
with two relatively unexperienced singles players in the team. Rumbaka here and Tommy Sugiarto. Hopefully players that we'll see much more of in the future.
Yes, and if regular badminton fans are wondering, I can tell you that Sonny Dwi Kunchoro, who of course was World Championships silver medalist in Kuala Lumpur in 2007, he's making a return to form after long-term injury problems, and that's good to see. So all in all, I think Indonesia, a lot of strength and depth at the moment in men's singles, emerging talents, some very experienced players there as well.
That's right. It was good to see Sony back in India Open. I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't select him for this event, because they sure could need his experience in the third singles, but probably afraid of
6-all.
him being injured again
Yeah.
if he played too much too early.
So just explain the rules to us. There's a certain number of players that can be selected per team. You can't just bring everybody along that you think might get a game.
Now you're allowed to select 10 players, and you can, at the maximum 10 players, and you can decide for yourself if it's doubles players or singles players. And
7-6.
for some countries, the players play both categories.
Just missed it. Yeah, that was a golden opportunity.
8-6.
It was a stupid mistake, because he could have won that in 2 shots instead of going for the immediate killer and now having lost it.
9-6.
That's the difference, isn't it?
10-6.
Smashed it down the centre of the court. Knew immediately that if his opponent was going to get it back, he would have to come back to the net area. He was already on his way forward. Not going for the lines. Oh, what a backhand.
11-6.
Well, it's a run of 6 straight points from 5-6 adrift to go to the mid-game interval with the advantage. So with the 5-point advantage to Indonesia, play resumes. Ah, now that's good. It's great when it works.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing that you can build upon. If you can make these kind of shots, then there's possibilities.
Play left.
Yeah, wasn't ready. Rumbaka. Yeah, look at the contrast though. I mean, what was that? A metre inside the sideline there.
I think since the two players met in 2009, it's quite clear that Rumbaka has been more exposed to international competition than Beckman has. It's more solid generally,
14,
but especially in the defense.
And more variety. I've seen much more variety from Rumbaka with the overhead shots. Yeah, well, who's he learned that one from? Healthy. Now, of course, there's an awful lot to be said for success breeding success, and of course, when you train on a daily basis with a former world and Olympic champion, World Championship medalists, you're bound to learn from their experience. Just wide.
Good call.
Service over. 8, 15.
As you said earlier, Jill, Indonesia has some depth in their men's singles department, but they lack perhaps the top player, the one constantly in the semi-finals of the Super Series, and it's interesting to see if
Service over. 16,
that's going to be
8.
Rumbaka. I thought for a while that it was going to be Simon Santosa, but he's disappointed a little bit the way I see it. Hasn't been able to sort of put his mark on the big events.
$17, 8.
12 of the last 14 points going to Rumbaka. Oh dear me, that's wild.
18, 8.
And we can see that there's a lot of work ahead for B.Beckman and the English single coaches, because these mistakes are simply too easy.
$19, 8.
Yeah, no wonder he's shaking his head.
Service over. 9-19.
I would like to see Rumbaka play a little bit faster here, setting the pace at a higher level to sort of build his confidence.
Service over.
He's
20.
looking very relaxed.
Game point. 10.
10 game point opportunities. Just 11 minutes of play so far. Oh my goodness.
Service over.
Well, that's
11,
the sort of loose
20.
shot that he certainly wouldn't get away with against one of the top Chinese players.
Game.
Second time of asking.
First
Closes out the game.
won by
That's of course
Indonesia,
nice
21-11.
play by Rumbaka this last rally. But it's not going to win him any matches against the top players.
Just 12 minutes. 21-11. Dionysius, Hayom, Rumbaka. Very difficult to hear what Coach Dionysius is saying. It must be a little strange for you watching your former player act as head coach to the England team. Of course, you helped Kenneth Dionysius become number 2 in the world rankings. My goodness, what a fighter on court he was.
Sort of, if he can sort of induce a little bit of his own style into B.Beckman, then he should have a pretty good player.
Yeah.
I think actually, looking at these pictures here, he seems quite fit and so on, Ben, but I think he has to be even fitter and perhaps also reduce his weight a little bit with a few pounds so he can be even faster on court and move even quicker, especially in the defense.
Players. Ready? Second game. Love ball. Black.
Yeah, all set up by the tight spinning net shot.
1-love.
We talk an awful lot in men's singles about the overhead shots and the deception, the power. But I'm a great believer that so many of the rallies set up by the net play, and therefore in my eyes probably the net shot is the most important shot in men's singles nowadays.
Service over.
Yeah, you're right.
1-all.
It's the control from below the tape. It's so important, and we can see that Ben has excellent skills above the tape and overhead shots, but it's his skills defending, playing the precise, the accurate shots that are lacking a bit.
2-1.
Very nicely just proving your point there.
thing is that if he manages to improve his defense a little bit, he'll have far more attacking chances than now. If he loses the attack now, he quite often loses rallies like this within 2 or 3 shots.
3-2. Service over. 3-all. Four, 3.
No rhythm to this second game as yet.
There's absolutely no need to play that shot because Rumbaka isn't doing anything. He's not creating anything for himself. He's just waiting for Ben to make the mistakes. So he could actually play a much safer shot and still be okay. A shot like that.
Service over. 5-4.
That was even too sharper to my taste because the only reason.
Service over.
Landed in.
5-all.
Yes, I mean, so often in badminton it's about building the rally, isn't it, rather than going for winners too early on. You've got to create the openings, you've got to create the opportunities. And if you try and force it too much in singles, that's when you start making the errors.
Start making the errors and opening opportunities for counter-attacking up. The best rally I've seen B.Beckman play.
All.
Good, showing good control.
Service over. 7-6.
Yes, I definitely see the weakness and the frailties in defensive play from B.Beckman. Being exposed and exploited by Rumbaka.
Service over. 7-all.
And what he should do, of course, after this match is review it on video together with his coaches and make a notice of what kind of strokes is it that sort of takes the initiative away from him.
Service over.
It's obvious
8,
that's a bad
7.
shot, but there are more bad shots that are not mistakes, but they're sort of
Playing
ruining his game.
Yeah.
Service over. 8-all. Service over.
Struggled to get behind that one.
8.
Playing the smash when off balance, and that's when you play for safety. That's not when you go for the lines. It would be interesting also, Steen, to have a look back at this match and count the number of unforced errors from B.Beckman.
That was too high.
11-8, interval.
And his last shot was too short. Lovely angle though once again from Rumbaka on his attacking play.
Play.
Well played by Rumbaka here.
Yeah.
12.
And that proves one of your points, Jill, that the control at the net is crucial in setting up your game.
Thank you. Okay. 12-8.
Well, one senses it's absolutely vital for B.Beckman if he wants to make this second game a real tight affair. Got to start closing the gap right now. Too loose, really. Oh, look at that disguise and deception. And that really exemplifies the difference with the overhead racket skills between the two players. Suddenly being able to just brush the racket head across the feathers of the shuttle, creating the deception. And it was so crisp too.
Well played.
Nice.
Service over. 9-13.
Well, that'd have been a run of 5 straight points. And Beckman will be mighty relieved that run has come to an end. Well, Beckman's suggesting that the
14,
shuttle touched
9.
his opponent before going out. Can't say as I saw that. Has to go down as another unforced error, sadly.
Yeah, and two situations where he sort of doesn't recognize that there is no possibility. First, the push at the net. There was no chance of killing it, and then the net shot that was too far from the net on his side to play a close shot. It's going to go wide.
Service over. 16-10. 17.
Good play from Rumbaka. Pressure from the front of the court, forcing the short lift and then the opportunity to play the winner.
Thank you. Okay. 17, 10.
That's a great lift. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a rally.
Service over. 11, 17.
That's what you call getting outmaneuvered. Did well to get that back.
Okay, we play left. Sure.
And they're not ready. You have to serve again.
That was going to go long, I suspect.
Service over. 18, 12.
Yeah, I think you're right by looking where his feet were landing. Oh, that's nicely done.
Service over. 13, 18.
I'm sitting here thinking that they're making some great lifts, but perhaps the net shots aren't as tight as they look from up here where we're sitting.
Oh, take that. What a
Service
magnificent
over.
smash.
19, 13.
260. Not the fastest one of the match so far, but very, very effective.
Thank you.
And what we must remember is that probably all these players, they can actually, if it was a contest, they would be able to hit it even harder.
Yeah.
Here they need to keep their balance and think of the next shot as well.
It's nicely taken.
20, match point. 13.
7 match points to be precise. It's going wide. Only needed the one opportunity. Comprehensive victory for Rumbaka. 21-11, 21-13.
Match won by Indonesia.
Well, B.Beckman will have to go home and have to work on his defensive qualities. 30 minutes for the victory for Dionysius Hayom Rumbaka. 21-11, 21-13. And that victory, of course, means that Indonesia conclude this tie with a 4-1 victory over England. Looking at the match statistics, well, a little bit surprised about the number of overhead winners. They're more for B.Beckman, but the number of smashes that perhaps from Rumbaka that forced a weak reply that he was then able to finish off, just emphasising Steve Peterson's point that it's not always the power of the smash, it's a shot that's used in the building of the rally. Well, there you can see confirmation of Indonesia's 4-1 victory over England, and in all honesty, a bit of a anticlimax, that third men's singles, because the men's doubles matches, both of them absolute thrillers. Well, that means, of course, that England will have to pack their bags and go home. They played 2 matches, they've been beaten twice, but of course tomorrow China will play Indonesia for the right to top the group, and then of course be seeded for the knockout competition from quarterfinals onwards. China, of course, the holders of this title. Indonesia, the most successful team in the history of the Thomas Cup. Well, today all started with Simon Santoso, a victory over Rajiv Usif in 2 straight games, and then England's hearts were lifted with a wonderful performance from Chris Adcock and Andrew Ellis, beating the current Olympic champions. And it was the second men's singles, and Taufik Hidiak's, well, just too good for Carl Baxter. 21-12, 21-16, and he looked very relaxed throughout that contest. And then it was the turn of the second men's doubles, and 2 untried and untested pairs. But what a thriller it produced. An hour and 4 minutes. Coming from behind in the deciding game, Mohamed Hassan and Alvin Yulianto Chandra winning through 21-19 in that third game. It really was magnificent. And as we've just seen, Dionysius Hayom Rumbaka, the young Indonesian, too good for the left-handed B.Beckman. 21-11, 21-13 in just 30 minutes of play. Well, that of course concludes play for this evening. We will be back tomorrow, of course, 1300 local time, that's 0500 GMT, from all of us here in Wuhan. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow for the Thomas Cup match, Denmark against Malaysia. But in the meantime, from all of us here, bye-bye.